And we have breaking news from the White House this morning. President Joe Biden has released his list of presidential pardons and commutations.
One of them is a man from Tennessee, and our political correspondent, Joe St. George, joins us live from our nation's capital in D.C. with more on this. So, Joe, good morning. Let's start there. Bethel Mooneyham, actually one of 70 people on the president's list. So what do we know?
Well, first off, nonviolent offenses, right? This is the president's effort today to really send a message, certainly for the 78 families that are impacted today, that if you have been convicted of a crime involving narcotics, that perhaps a multi-decade sentence wasn't appropriate. And that's what we're dealing with in this case. The president has been facing a lot of pressure, especially by criminal justice reform advocates, to use the power of the pardon, the power of the commutation, to release individuals who've rehabilitated, at least in the eyes of the criminal justice system, but perhaps was sentenced in a time in which certain drugs got you a sentence for longer periods. The president taking not just the steps to pardon, commute sentences today, he's also taking and announcing new efforts to improve the prison to the job market pipeline, if you will. There's a big concern about recidivism rates. People leave prison, they find themselves back in it. They're announcing a new partnership this morning, the White House and the Department of Labor, to provide job training to some inmates who may know, hey, I'm getting out in a few months, perhaps I'll be able to prepare for a job. And oh, by the way, there's plenty of low-end jobs around Nashville, around Tennessee that just aren't getting filled. Perhaps someone leaving prison, just been rehabilitated, they could fill them. One of the many reasons President Biden taking action this morning.
And then, Joe, we know another Tennessee inmate, Oscar Smith, currently waiting for a new execution date after an oversight with that lethal injection plan for last week.
Yeah, the Supreme Court actually just heard a case about the constitutionality of lethal injection for a Georgia inmate yesterday. That inmate reportedly wants a firing squad instead. Is that going to come up in court?
Well, you know, there's certainly been a lot of debate, and not just in Tennessee, but around the country about the efficacy of the death penalty. What has been staying executions as opposed to letting them go forward has been, though, if new evidence emerges. That really is the biggest thing that is preventing executions at this point. In fact, within the last 24 hours, we saw an execution stayed in Texas as a direct result of some new evidence, some rethinking coming forward. That's typically what gets individuals out of the lethal injection chair, if you will, in this day and age. The Supreme Court is conservative, and more states have been executing as opposed to previous years in which they've been had more of an appetite to stay execution. So we'll stay on top of this one. Obviously, it's a hot topic, a hot button issue, and obviously a firing squad brings in a totally different questions regarding efficacy. But that is something that man certainly is entitled to under state law.
Okay, Joe, and lastly and quickly, Tennessee, among a handful of states passing bills that limit the rights of transgender students. So organizations like the ACLU have promised to challenge those. I mean, is it likely to make it to the U.S. Supreme Court?
Yeah, this is something that really we haven't seen a full ruling on yet, right? We haven't seen the Supreme Court really rule on the issue of transgender Americans in youth sports. What rights do they have? When does someone have the right to transition? It seems like this is something that's going to have years of legal challenges ahead of it. Tennessee, to some degree, leading the way in terms of passing some of the strictest rules when it comes to transgender rights in America. I was recently in Memphis talking with transgender Americans in the Delta. They're certainly feeling the pressure, and they certainly want more legal protections. This is going to be something we'll be watching closely, not just over the coming weeks, not just the coming months, but guys, we'll be covering this for years.
Yeah. Joe, great insight as always. Our Joe St. George live from Washington. Joe, can't wait to see you again. Take care, buddy. Always a